Hey, what's up, everyone? This is David Greenspan, and you are listening to Season 2 of the Mindshare Podcast, a proud member of the Industry Syndicate Media Network. Additional podcasts are available at mindshare101.com and on all the major podcast platforms. This week's episode is sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems. This is episode 98. She's a social media curator and consultant, which, as she says, is just a fancy way of saying she loves helping people transform their Instagram accounts. She strategically takes a deep dive into how to make your brand stand out online and specializes in Instagram strategies for real estate agents. When she's not running workshops on Instagram 101, she is posting on behalf of her clients, creating captivating content for their target audience. She is authentically refreshing and knows the gram inside and out. And her goal is to get you started and teach you all of her secrets so that you can thrive online. This week on the Mindshare Podcast, I am joined by Stacey Russell, aka Stacey Secrets, as we talk all about Instagram. Stacey, welcome to the show.
What's going on?
Yeah, she is here. She's in the house. I'm excited to have you here today.
I'm so excited. You know, you said on Instagram earlier today, you hear from people that you have high energy, and I get the same thing. And you know why? Here's the first secret. The reason is because why would you watch us if we weren't that high energy? Well, like you have a podcast. Of course, imagine it was like David Greenspan, like really monotone. It's a very monotone podcast.
You know, it's funny that you say that because I brought that up. I think one of the training programs or one of the presentations, or I don't know, I say it often, but it's one of those things like, you know, you're going to put up a post. Okay, what are you going to say? And I remember that I had a friend of mine, Lee Brown. I don't know if you know Lee Brown, but she's got this podcast called Crazy Shit in Real Estate. So she was on the show. She was on the show a while back. But you think about like crazy shit in real estate. So that's what we called the show, was Crazy Shit in Real Estate. And
that's
I said
a great
to
title.
Like, well, had I said to you like, we're going to talk about real estate, would you be as excited?
or things in real estate.
Right. Yes. It's that sounds like a lot of fun. But seriously though, there's the idea, right? So it's about having the energy. It's about having, well, maybe a few cups of coffee, sure. But I'll tell you this, for me, it is so much about loving what I do. And then having, I'm going to age myself completely when I say this, but being in it 16 years, having, you know, lots of success stories to share. And of course, lots of other trials and tribulations and all the other BS that comes along with day-to-day stuff, but that happens in everybody's world. It's the successes that you hear that go, how can I not get jacked up? Like, this is wicked, you know? Anyway.
100%. I do the clap-in. Do you do the clap-in? I do, you know, right before a presentation, yeah. I do the, yeah, here we go. And then go into it from there. Wake people up. You know, this is like Zoom.
Oh, you're saying
world.
Like when you're on stage, you do that?
So like I'm doing so many Zoom calls lately, and I do Zoom presentations for brokerages. And, you know, it's morning, you're at a computer. It's just different. You're not tuned into being at work. So, yeah, I do the excited, like, here we go, clap in, let's go, let's get ready.
It's funny, too, though, because some people are like, oh, can you just quiet down? It's too early. This is too much for me. And I'm like, no. We've been going since 6:30 this morning. Let's do this, right?
Yeah, that's how you wean out those people.
Well, this is the thing, though, but you got to have some energy and some enthusiasm to what you do. I mean, I know for me, like before I will normally get on stage and do my presentation, I've got my earbuds in my ear and I'm literally blasting Ramble On by Led Zeppelin.
Oh, I love it. I don't
know why, but that song just gets me.
My go-to is Mom Spaghetti, that do, like that beginning every single time. Let me tell you, I was in a pageant, the Miss Universe Canada pageant a long time ago. And I had all the girls backstage in a circle in our heels and mini skirts singing, "You better lose yourself." It was just amazing. So that's my go-to
awesome.
jam.
That is wicked. Well, again, a pleasure having you. And naturally today's topic is all about the secrets of Instagram. And so my thing is, following you and watching all the stuff you're doing. And I see that you are seriously, I mean, all jokes aside and seriousness here, there's a lot of successes coming from a lot of the work that you're doing for a lot of agents out there. And not only are you sharing a lot of details about that and letting people into a lot of the secrets, but we are actually watching other people now talk about how awesome it's been. So I'm totally pumped for you.
Well,
And
thank you so much.
we hear it all the time, right? Take advantage of social media. Yet so many people have like no idea what that really means. And they figure, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go hire somebody. I'm going to spend a whole bunch of money on this thing. And as long as I don't have to think about it, life will be good. And typically speaking, I'll say to them, does anybody need help with social? Yeah. I need help. Cool. It's going to run you X amount of dollars. Some people be like, oh, perfect. Just, spend it. Other people go, I haven't got the budget for that. And I'm like, listen, it's free. Just click the button. And look, my belief is this. There's definitely a lot of people out there, yours truly included, as you, not me. Well, me too, but that can help people with their social media. Beyond that, though, and like I've said for years, if you were going to have somebody else post your social media for you, only do your social media for you, and you don't do anything, it's like saying, hey, Stace, I got this party to go to tonight. Do you mind going for me and just saying hi to everybody? It's like, why would you go to the party on my behalf? Nobody's going to, people might care about you, but you get it. The invite was to me, right?
Right. I have recently had a couple of realtors say, just do it for me. Just do it for me. And to be honest, I don't really want to work with someone like that because it's 100% a partnership. Like there's no way I can do it without you. And I do my best to write captions that encompass your voice, but you still are going to have to go over all those captions and make sure I do sound like you. You still are going to have to show up on video so that we can hear you and we can see you. It's definitely a partnership, and I don't know why you would want someone else to just do it for you besides just saving time.
Ooh, okay. And you know what? That gives us a lot to talk to right there, because I mean, I could give you obviously a million reasons, and you know them, but why people want somebody else to do it for them.
Mm.
Um, and look, by the way, as I say all of this, and so that everybody knows and stays, so this is not to downplay the strategy and the guidance that you provide, but I think you just literally prefaced that right there. It's like, look, I'm here to do things. I'm going to help you with things, but you need to be there with me. It's a partnership. I love the way you said that.
Yeah, actually, a couple of business owners have said, you can make way more money if you stop calling yourself a guru, a teacher, a guide, and you just start doing it for people.
Wow.
And I would say, at the beginning of this conversation, we were talking about passion. It fills me with joy to have taught someone something online. And I've helped a 70-year-old woman, not to say that that's old or anything, but it's up there. And I helped her figure things out, start to have fun with it. And then the next day when you see her actually show up and do something, that stuff moves me.
It's hard not to, right? Like it's just, there's the beauty of all of it. And I'm with you. It wasn't about calling old, but when we look at the reality is the generational differences. An individual that is, of say 70 did not grow up with Instagram, did not grow up being told, hey, go and record yourself and do all these funny things and put yourself out there. Nobody knew about that stuff, right? So it's different. But tell me this then, what's the real trick? And I think we've probably just said it. But what's the real trick to making any social media actually work for us?
It's an obvious one. It's being yourself, being authentic, being real, being who you are. To be quite honest, was really nervous about being myself. Showing up online, dancing in my granny panties. The Buzz conference had me, and the first presentation that I did, I dropped an F-bomb.
Was that by accident or was that like fully on purpose?
That was fully on purpose. I was like, I am not a realtor. I am not a part of your clan. I am, real. And we can swear on this podcast?
could do whatever. No problem.
Yeah. So I said, like, you got to show the fuck up on Instagram. What are you doing? Like every single day, you've got to show the fuck up. And I said, I only swear, one, because I'm from a very small town, and two, to drive a point home. And I just think that separated all of my clients from the posh, strategic, I don't really want to learn anything, you just do it for me crowd. And the people were like, yeah, I want to show the fuck up on Instagram. You're my girl. Like, and that's just for me, and that's just my brand. So the more real and authentic you can be online, then you're not that gross car salesman realtor. Then you're not that perfect and polished. Like, people don't want that. You don't need to look perfect online. Actually, you need to look imperfect. You need to look like a real human.
Well, the key to that, I mean, like we've seen it so often. I remember I was last year, maybe 2 years ago now. I don't even know. Time flies too fast. I was down in Arizona speaking at a conference, and they had this wicked backdrop. They actually had us on the tarmac. Well, we were like in this building with like a deck that hung out over the tarmac of this private airstrip. So all you had was like these like wicked private little jets flying around and all sorts of stuff. And I remember just beforehand, we were outside kind of doing like a little, everybody was just talking it up. And there was one dude out there. And I mean, there was a lot of photographers and videographers there catching all sorts of footage of us, and like the event had organized it. They were going to do this whole thing for us, right? But there was this one dude, I guess he was literally, I mean, not to, again, downplay the fact that he was a realtor, but he wasn't speaking, he wasn't doing anything, but he had the videographer and the photographer capturing him. And he was doing all of these like, those types of things. And I'm like, I'm looking at a good looking boy. He's got, great, good clothes on. He's got a man purse on, his hair's done. He's staring out at the sky. And I'm like, okay, dude. So like, what do you look like tomorrow though?
Yeah.
Right? And the big thing becomes, can you hold that consistency of whatever that brand image is? And is that really you? Right? Because if you can't pull that off 7 days a week, then don't do that. Right. And if that's not you, then don't do that. And if you're worried about what people think about you, then go look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Be comfortable with who you are and start to just share that with people. And that's where you're going to connect with more people. Right.
But yeah, like I don't want to super posh people aren't my targets, but there are posh people out there. And I've helped fancy people as well.
Absolutely.
And if that's who you are, then be that as well. But you're right. Like, give us some behind the scenes. Like, we want to see, is that like, show us your wardrobe. Even that, like, if you're posh, go show us your wardrobe. Show us your shoes. Like, I want to see you. I don't even care if it's like a snippet of your face without makeup, but you're just like, have your wine glass in hand. Just a little bit of something. I think the reason the Kardashians are such a huge thing, it's like the Truman Show on crack. Like, people just want to see, does Kim Kardashian get down on the floor and like, if there's a spill, does she get that? Does she call her maid? Like, people just want to see what is that person really like?
And there's where the connection point comes from, right? And yeah, that good call on that. It wasn't a knock on posh or your style.
Yeah.
But be authentically who you are. And that's, I mean, if we look and say, like, if we had to end the show right now and say, what is the best way to leverage social? It's like, be you.
100%.
Right? Okay. Now we're not ending the show. So the next question becomes then, right? What should a daily or even a weekly routine include so that agents act with purpose instead of wasting time with social media? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. There's a whole bunch of secrets I could give you in there. One thing I will say is, I get that you're, especially realtors, no time. You do not have time. It's just go, go, go. Or at least I hope for your business, it is go, go, go. Don't tell me you don't have your phone in your hand the whole time. Do not tell me. I know you are checking your emails. You're getting back to people. It's insane. All you need to implement is now filming pieces of that throughout your day. It's creating a new habit. Just like we're like, oh, we need to drink more water. So bring your massive water bottle everywhere with you. It's the same with Instagram. Just, you're sitting in your car, you're waiting for, someone to come up for a showing, an open house. say that, like, film us, like, film yourself, show up, show the fuck up.
It's true, right? Just be there. I'm working with folks on a regular basis saying the exact same thing. You know, it's when it first starts, and strategy that I'm saying to everybody, and you know, everybody watching and listening, it's about putting a line item in your schedule that says, okay, this is when I am going to tap in, because we know, just like Stacey said, we're on this thing all day long. It's in our hands. So there's going to be times. I mean, squirrel, right? Did you see the movie Social Dilemma?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So it's that whole thing of like, we are programmed. It is a behavioral change that has happened to the human race where we hold this thing and it is like our life jacket everywhere we go.
Can I tell you, while I was watching that movie, because of the information it's giving me, I'm like, okay, for the rest of this movie, I'm not going to touch my phone.
Right.
And so many times I'm like, but wait, like, I just need to check the time. Okay, maybe like, oh, I saw something come up on my screen and immediately my eyes go to it. It's a little bit creepy.
But it's true. And when you
It's
start
true.
to watch the movie, you're almost like, okay, that's it. I'm going to delete my accounts. And you're like,
Oh, no.
I can't really do that. But that being said, though, and you're bang on, like, I'll talk about line item in the sketch that it actually gets done in a day. So at the same time, too, we're not sitting there randomly scrolling. The next thing we know, 60 minutes has passed by. But instead, it's get on there, act with purpose, do certain things, and get off.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, like, for me personally, I try to shoot for before 10 a.m. to do a post. Before
Okay.
10 a.m., I got to do something. You know, for my clients, I tell them Monday is such a great recap of the weekend. Tuesday, Wednesday, give some advice, maybe tell them a story, show some behind the scenes. You don't have to think above and beyond, but you're right. One, like, a really maybe easy step is like set a time, and before that time, you're like, I gotta post. For me personally, though, because I integrate it into my life, I don't know why, but the way that I see life is like in moments. You know, it's COVID. We heard the LCBO was gonna maybe shut down. So my fiance comes home with just cases of beer. He's got bottles in his pants, and I'm about to put it away. And I'm like, well, wait a second. And you know, like a Celine Dion song just comes into my head, and I'm like, yes, this is it. And I just go and film on TikTok. It's like, maybe that's just my gift that I see things in moments, but it's like, if you're going to tell someone a story, it's worth telling it online. If you're going to call up your friend and say, oh my God, the funniest thing happened today, it's worth saying it online.
And you just painted a picture for how simple it is to come up with content, right? Look
Yeah.
at your life in moments. And much the same where for me, again, I do have certain things scheduled in there for social media to ensure that certain bogeys are being hit each day. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just about the habit. That's about the time management. That's about never coming up with the excuse of, well, you know, it's too busy today. Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. Step aside because I'm like barreling through, right?
Yeah.
Once you get into that habit, it's no longer as much about scheduling it as it is. And I love the way you said it about living in moments, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so maybe, I mean, okay, here, that recap post that you say for Monday, you'd post something about, let's say, the weekend, whatever. Would that be a feed post, or would that be a story, or both?
So, feed posts. Feed posts should be intentional. So maybe those are your planned out things. Your feed, you should have an intention behind every single thing that you post. And you don't have to post every single day. I tell all my clients post consistently on the same days every week. So Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, whatever your thing is. Those posts, and here's a secret tip and a strategy, should fit into your highlights. So you're either talking about a testimonial, you're either talking about a new listing, a previously sold, you're talking about education, something of value, you're showing behind the scenes of your personal life. These should all be your highlights. You're writing this down, aren't you?
I take notes. I love notes. I love notes.
Yes. So for your feed, they should be intentional posts leading people somewhere. Stories can be whatever the fuck you want.
Mm-hmm.
And they should be every single day, little moments throughout your day. They're really only 15 seconds, so you can't tell me you don't have enough time. But absolutely, like it's a practice. It's like, oh my God, I can't even get offline. I can't even get offline. Like, I'm someone who has to, like, okay, I don't need to do any more stories today. Like, put your phone down.
I was talking to one of my coaching clients this morning,
Mm,
and we are working as part of what we're doing. I mean, as always, we're always talking about building more mind share. And so, what does the marketing strategy look like? And one of the things was that he's having problems with is he goes, Dave, I know in the morning I need to get up and brush my teeth.
mm-hmm,
He says, I don't have to think about that. It just
mm-hmm.
happens. And I said, exactly. We now have to make this aspect of your world become like brushing your teeth.
100%.
Right. You know what I mean? Like it's because you're right, right? Don't tell me you don't have 15 seconds. Don't tell me you can't post something up. Now, I want to come back to the frequency thing and all that, but I got a couple other questions here. Social media, because you've got a business, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Social media is one channel when we talk about marketing, when we talk about reaching out to people, we talk about building mindshare with people. It's one way to reach out and do things. In your world, or even maybe in your clients' worlds, people you found successes that are growing their gram, let's say, or whatever it be. What do you recommend, and do you recommend? Do you use anything else outside of just Instagram, say TikTok, outside of social media to support that social media strategy?
Whew, that was a confronting question.
Geez, was it confusing though?
No, no, I'm just such an Instagram whore. Um, so I think my business and your business is the exact same. It's like all about referrals. So that's like where I get a huge chunk of my stuff. I'm just implementing email strategies and automation. Um, what my fear is getting away from like a real conversation, like a human. Like, I don't want to have like a robot email you and be like, I just don't want that. And
Yeah.
I want it to be as real as possible. What I would say, like a huge thing that helped me in my business is, and it's kind of tricky now, is like large networking events. So it's not just about posting on social media, it's about finding where your audience is. Because I have had Instagram workshops for a long time, and I'm like, please come. And, one or two people would show up. But finally, I found a brokerage, a digital marketing agency that helps realtors. Okay, you have all my people coming to you. Can I go stand over there and talk about my thing? So it's not just about showing up on your own thing. It's about collaborating with other people, especially people with a large audience. But again, that's like just doing it on social media. That's my focus.
Okay, but you just said something really important, right? Is that although you're focused and you're so deep into the social media world, you've just labeled out how important it is to get together with people,
Mm,
how important it is to network with people,
mm-hmm.
and that power of the referral, right? And
100%. Yeah.
so again, maybe you didn't catch what you just said, but you in fact did say that you go wider than social media. And
Yeah.
again, guys, you know, she spends her world on Instagram. This is where she focuses her time. And yet again, through just the picking and the probing, and we can all sit here and ask ourselves the same question and then go, yeah, it makes sense that actually connecting with people is where we see our success come from. And
It's
so
so true.
that could be connecting on Insta, that could be connecting on Insta and in person and on a phone call and at a conference. And now you're building a bigger circle there, or and connecting on multiple channels with that one individual.
Absolutely. Actually, I met right before COVID. I had like a booth at a car. It was like a car parking lot. It was a women's event. I met one awesome woman. She followed up with me by email, connected. She had a very small network marketing event of like 4 people, and one person was, I didn't realize at the time, she had green hair. So I was like, hey, you're my kind of person.
Yeah.
You're weird. I love it. We started becoming friends on Instagram, me and this green haired girl. She helped me raise my prices. She's taught me a couple different strategies in my business. Now she's sending me referrals. And that was supposed to be like a very large marketing event. And only 4 people showed up. But that one girl was golden. So yes, it's all those things.
Um, tell me the process there. Okay, I'm gonna zero in on that situation right there with that lady.
Okay.
You went to this event.
Mm-hmm.
You knew nobody, maybe the organizer.
Yeah.
Green hair wasn't the organizer.
No.
Cool. Met her randomly
Yep.
in person.
Yep.
How did we? And this is the strategic part of the of kind of the question or your answer. How did we take the relationship from, hey, I just met you in person, to, go online with it and then build a, hey, let's jump on a phone?
This
And I
is
know it sounds so
yeah, yeah,
simple.
yeah.
Like you and I are like, I just kind of did it.
No, what's funny is I just listened to your other podcast with Mr. Loeb, I think his name was, and he was
Jeff,
talking,
yeah.
yeah, and he was talking about like going to Tim Hortons and like
With the
saying
coffee
like,
cards.
he's like, here's my number, here's my email or whatever. With that, honestly, what happened was the green-haired girl, I followed her on Instagram. She followed me back. I started watching her stories. And I thought, hey, you seem to be finding a lot of success in your business. Actually, this is a golden tip. I'll finish this and then I'll tell you what it
Yeah,
is.
go for it.
I just I could tell she was successful, the things that she was saying. So we started having a conversation in our direct messages. And finally, I guess I asked her a question that she was like, let's just hop on a Zoom call. We hop on a Zoom call. She's being transparent and real. She's not hiding her business. She's giving me all the secrets, which is like the whole thing of my business, is to give the information. So she told me, like, this is what I'm charging people just to write their copy, just to write their captions. And I'm like, shit, if you're charging people that for your captions, well, I'm doing their photos, their branding, their captions, their hashtag, posting on their behalf. Like, my prices are nothing like your prices. So from there, we've like really been able, she's like, you know what? I don't want to post for anyone. So I'm going to send anyone I know your way. It was
Wicked.
beautiful. And what I will say, this has been a really big golden nugget of secret goodness for me in my business as of recently. And she's the one who taught me this as well. She's so great. I love her. I swear I'm going to hire her as my next business partner. Do not always be selling. Oh, and you said this in your other podcast with Mr. Lowe as well.
She's listening to me.
Right? 100% in the shower today.
I love it.
But it's good information. It's like, don't just sell. You have to start a relationship. So when you direct message people, or when I do, I'll speak for myself, I start giving away free tips. Hey, I really like your stories. It would be really awesome if you did a poll on before and after of your staging. Just like free, helpful kindness. And then that stuff comes back to you. Eventually someone's like, you know what? Do you want to like maybe check my Instagram out? Maybe we could, I'm like, let's have a conversation. There's no email automation or anything that's better than just being human to human.
I concur. I agree with you 1,000,000% on that point. I mean, obviously, yeah, as you're tuned into a lot of the content, which I am very grateful for, and for all of you listening right now, the reality is that's a big underlying point, right? Is build the relationship. And the more that we do that without going, hey, by the way, do you want to buy something? The more we're going to win. And you just said something really crucial there. Give it away. Just give it to them. Here is the secret.
Now.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Most people go, but hold on a second then. How do you make money off of that? And the reality is, because most people get it, we hear it, we don't know how to click it. We don't know how to do it. It's easy to, for an accountant to tell you, hey, yeah, you just got to, manage your assets and your liabilities. You're like, oh, yeah, gotcha. How the hell do I do that? Right?
Right.
So we can give it away. But now when I come back to this is and this is always an underlying thing through a lot of these episodes and through a lot of the trainings, that we learn that most people do not like to give away free value, and they do not like to spend their time without making any money. So to that though, and I say it all the time, and you've just said it, it is about giving the value out, right? So talk to me about ROI for a second. When we, should we expect that when we post something, we will literally just see immediate return from it? Like, what's a realistic expectation that agents should have when implementing social media, when posting on social media? Like I just posted, like, is my phone going to ring? Is my bank account going to grow right now? And it's like, no, it's not going to happen like that.
No.
What do you say about that? ROI.
So yeah, so it's it really depends on what you're posting. In fact, I actually just I did a takeover for someone, and we promoted the listing, and she said, "Oh my God, nobody showed up at the open house." Why? We promoted it to like 30,000 people. Okay, but we didn't write open house this day. We didn't say all of the details on the listing itself. Instead, we used fancy terminology on this is the building. Like, it's just it's just like, I get that you really like that, and probably a very niche market of people are going to be like, oh, this woman knows. But the majority of people just need the information. So it's really important, like, what you're going to be putting out there. As for, relatable stuff is going to get you the most and quickest turnaround. So really lamely, like, I looked at my top posts recently, and it was like something about Sailor Moon, something about Batman, something about Ghostbusters. It's like things that people can relate to. They're going to respond quicker and faster. They say that within the first 20 minutes of your post, you're going to get some engagement. So maybe you want to hang around. Maybe you want to go for the 20 minutes after you post, go like a couple other people's things, and they're like, oh, she's paying attention to me, let me go pay attention to her. But it is not instant like Instagram.
Well, okay, now, I mean, two things to that. One is, again, I think we said this off air, and I said something about it earlier this week, but the movie Social Dilemma, I mean, first of all, it shows us how messed up we really are and how this thing has screwed us hard, and so if anybody hasn't watched that, go check it out, because it's going to make you want to delete your Facebook and your Instagram. But I caution you, do not. Do not. It's the window to the world right now.
Yes.
And it's a way to grow your business, of course, right?
Yes.
But the whole thing being, again, it's the connection point and the engagement, right? So let's talk Insta. I mean, this is the thing. This is your shtick. I want to talk more about Instagram right now, but dig in more specifically. Yeah, go.
Before we even, because you're about to get into something exciting.
I don't know why I was doing this. Do you think it's got to do with
the Stacey secret? So what he's doing for our listeners out there, he's put his finger up to his mouth, like he's saying, shh.
I need to even remember this. Some people just going to be listening to the audio.
So he's going shh because he looks at too much of my stuff, and maybe that's like I'm getting into your brain. But what I was going to say is, someone actually called me immediately after watching that movie, Social Dilemma, and they said, I'm deleting my Instagram account. And I said, okay, like, stop. Let's take a step back. Let's think about this. What are the great things about Instagram? What are the not good things about Instagram? And I think one of the things I really want to take forward is just having healthy practices around it. Not obsessing over your followers. I'm trying to do a petition right now. It's on change.org. You can look up Stacey Russell, or you can look up hide your followers. But how relieving would it be if we didn't have to look at that stupid followers number every day? And I think that there's a benefit. So for example, if I see my competition has tons of people, I can go and steal her followers. It's kind of gross, but that is awesome for business. At the same time, I have every single person that I talk to, including yourself. How do I get thousands of followers? And it's like, that is not your goal. I will tell you a secret. I purchased 5,000 followers 2 years ago for $40. They ended up being, bots and Spanish-speaking people. And Spanish-speaking people and bots will not engage with my account. So
and it's nothing wrong if there's anything wrong with Spanish-speaking people.
No, Spanish people are my favorite. I wish I could be reborn Spanish, to be quite honest. But what I'm saying is, yes, they're not going to be engaging with my content. They're not my target audience. Right. So to other people who weren't doing a deep dive, they're like, oh, she has 5,000 followers. She must be good at her job. But on the other side, for my actual business, I'm getting no engagement. And I had to take hours and hours taking people and unfollowing all those people and taking them out of my account. And now it's way smaller, but now I have 1,000 true Stacey fans who are rooting me on every day, who want to support my business, instead of 6,000, people just like floating around and not caring.
So should I be more should I be more satisfied with my follower count if I've got less followers but more engagement, or more followers but less engagement?
You want more engagement, 100%. And I think that even from communicating this, people still just like their ego really gets in the way. I've like had to talk this woman out of, she's like, well, I need to buy more followers. And it's like, no, just forget about that number. So go sign the petition. Like, they took down the likes, and I can't tell you, like, personally, because I told you, Instagram is my whole world. Yeah. When they took down the likes, it was like my heart and creativity was allowed to be free.
Because now you're not worried, am I going to get the engagement? Am I going to get that
I was
materialistic measurement or whatever
100%
to make me feel good?
Yeah.
And that's what that movie talked about too, right? When you said, we developed the like button just to make people like, but all of a sudden it became a measuring tool.
It's gross.
Which started to mess with everybody's mind, right?
Yeah.
So tell me this, Stace. I mean, I realize everything you teach is going to take, it would take hours and days and weeks to go through it all. But, that said, assuming that everybody has an Instagram account.
Okay.
Right? So they've got one, or they will after we're done here today. But I want to talk strategy about this. And I want like deeper, more specific kind of, setting up my profile, leveraging my feed, leveraging stories, leveraging highlights, IGTV, reels, hashtags, tagging people, frequency. Again, I want to go through it all. But realistically, we're not going to get through everything, but I want to go through that kind of crash course on that. So, what should my IG strategy look like? Where do I start?
I love this. Because no matter what level you're at, this is the place to start. It's going to seem so basic, but let me take you through it.
But like we said, assets and liabilities seem basic to an accountant.
Right. Right. So it's where you're going to start: your username, your profile picture, and your bio. Those are the three most important things. They are your first impression on Instagram. And the way that I like to explain this is the way that you choose to watch something on Netflix is the same way you choose who to follow on Instagram. So on Netflix, you're either already watching something and you just want to watch the next episode. Your friend has recommended, oh my gosh, have you seen this thing? You got to go watch it. Everyone's talking about it. So you like the social dilemma. So you go and watch it because everyone's talking about it. Or you're scrolling for maybe way too long and then something catches your eye. It's a title. Like for me, I really like murder crime stuff. So like Making a Murder, I'm like, woo, what's this about? Or
remind me not to get on your bad side.
Right?
Mental note. Write that one down.
I've watched them all. I for sure know how to take someone down.
Broadcasting live over here.
Right?
Syndicating to every major podcast platform.
I won't do it for a couple years. Or it's an image, maybe it's like an actress that you love, something like that, something that stops you. You read the synopsis and you decide very quickly, I'm going to watch this maybe later. I'm going to save it to my list, whatever. It's the same on Instagram. You're either already following someone and you just want more of them. Your friend is like, ooh, you should check out this. I think that you'd really like them. Go follow them. So you do. Or you're kind of going through stuff and what catches your eye is going to be someone's username or their profile photo. Maybe they commented, maybe I'm going to look through your comments on a post that I really like of yours, and some realtor has a really catchy name, like the Nerdy Realtor. And maybe that Nerdy Realtor, by the way, I'm shouting out the Nerdy Realtor. I like taught him one time and then he never got to see my presentation again, and I actually implemented him into my presentation. So the nerdy realtor, if you're listening, your profile image needs to be you in a suit pulling your tie aside with a Superman shirt underneath. Something that is different, piques curiosity, pulls people in. So now I'm going to look at your page, and your bio, that first statement better be a value statement, a hook for why I should be following you, why you should be my realtor. Because let me tell you, realtors out there who are listening, all of us know that you help people sell, buy, or invest. So if you have that, take that out right fucking now. That's just a description of your job. It's
and I ask the
be
question all the time, and I've asked so many people this, and you guys know this, everybody tuning in. Why you?
Why you? Oh my God, I'm using your thing now. When I get a new prospect, you asked a question, 3 questions. It was like, write down the 3 things you're good at, write down the 3 things you do all the time.
Unique selling point. How to determine your USP.
Down what is the problem you're trying to solve and why you're hardcore. You have a really good voice and good energy, and that does something for people. So I now ask that to my clients in order to create their bio so that they you
can
about you.
Yeah.
That needs to be your first statement. So that's the first place that you're going to start, because even if your content is amazing, even if your stories are really great, if those things aren't tight, you're not going to have followers to be performing for. The other thing I would say, like, start doing stories today, because you're going to suck at them. You need to start sucking at them at least. And then as you continue to do it, you really just get better. You start to see, oh, I'm not smiling when I'm filming myself. Oh, I'm filming myself from too low. I need to like hold the camera at eye level. Maybe you just learn as you practice and play.
And there's nothing wrong with making the mistakes on it. Like, it's stories, especially the most rawest form of social media. They disappear after 24 hours. They are not meant to be polished. They are not there for the world to see. And in 2 days from now, it's gone. Right. So you can literally go on there, rap about anything, have some fun, get spunky like you do, rant maybe the way I do sometimes. I mean, promo stuff, take a picture of a cup of coffee if you want to, and let people know how you started your day. Like, it's literally, you're telling a story. It's not meant to be polished. Now, just coming back quickly to the profile, and you talked about, again, the username, the profile picture, and the bio, the searchable fields as well. It's important that people understand, again, if somebody wants to search something, that is the username and the username and your profile name, like your so I'm at David Greenspan 101, and then you could type
the title. Yep.
Right, the title.
Yep.
Right, and that's how people can find you on Thing. Now, talk about the do I need a theme for my feed? Like, we see people, they'll post up, they'll have a photo, and then they have like this, like, colored like word swag, and then a photo, and then a colored word swag, and it's like, it's always got to be this pattern, or they've got like the same filter on every photo. What do you think? Is it necessary? Do I need to? Am I overcomplicating myself?
I'm going to throw that question back at you. What do you think? Like, who do you follow on Instagram, and do they just post all randomly? And if they do, here's what I'll say is, like, someone's got to be pretty fucking impressive for their Instagram to not look pretty. So, like, a huge part of my business is takeovers and makeovers. It is about your brand colors. It is about looking like you've planned this. You're going to look more professional the more time you take. And I'm going to be real with you. I'm kind of in this like catch-22 place right now of, okay, well, my business Instagram, I would like to keep branded and polished, but I'm starting to feel like I really just want to just be myself and show up on my personal one. But I know it's just not going to be that visual. Okay. And it's a visual app.
So here's the deal.
Yeah.
I look at it and I say to myself, and I go through the habits, right, of how do I work through Instagram? I love the Explorer feed. I find myself on the Explorer feed all the time because there's so much randomness that's thrown at us. And if I'm
Interesting.
tapping on Harleys or I'm tapping on, hockey or I'm tapping on tattoos, that stuff's being served up to me more. If I'm tapping on leadership, if I'm tapping on self-development, that stuff's being served up to me more. So I like that. What I then find is that oftentimes when I get followed by somebody, and throughout the day, as that happens all the time, you sort of click the button and you go, who is this person? And right away, so there's a few things that throw me off, and there's a few things that I like. What throws me off is if your business is connecting with me, because this is a social media. I want to be connected to a human being. So I will connect with you as David Greenspan, real estate industry coach, Mindshare 101, whatever, but I'm David Greenspan.
Right.
The second thing here is that once I go to your feed once, I rarely go back. Now, that doesn't mean I don't engage with you. It doesn't mean we don't do things, but I've checked you out. Who are you? Right. So right away, I'm going to see, do I like you? Do I jive with your content? If you're a realtor, and realtors, I've told you guys this a million times, but if all you're posting is open houses and listings and just solds and all that stuff, boring. You're not letting me in.
Super boring.
So now we get back to this whole thing about, should I have a business account? Should I have a personal account? And in my 2 cents here, I've only got one. And a lot of Instagram wizards like yourself and others might go, oh my God, like Michelle B. Belisari, so Boca. She was on the Instagram or the podcast last week. She's at a Boca Raton, Florida. She was like, gotta have a business account. And many people have said that because A, you can track your insights, and B, you can advertise to it. But here I am going, why? Because when I click the little share to my story, I've got the little Facebook bubble, and that goes over to my Facebook account because they're tied in together. And the nice thing is, if it was a business account on Facebook, ain't nobody seen my stories.
Yeah.
Whereas when it's a personal story on Facebook, people see my stories. So I've kept my account on Instagram personal, and I keep my Facebook personal, and now I'm able to parlay the two with them, right?
Yeah. You've brought up like so many points.
Okay, so hold on. Now it goes further, right?
Yeah.
So now it's like when I go to your feed, beyond just the listings and the solds and the business stuff, if I see the tiled look, I know you spend a lot of time on your Insta. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking you, and I'm not you, just anybody in general. I'm not saying don't do it, but for me, it says now it's meant to be too commercial, too planned, too whatever. Whereas mine, kind of what you just said of like, I just want to kind of be me. That's the stance I took. I said, screw it. Now you're going to get the podcast promos on there. You're going to get when I'm speaking on stage on there. You're going to get me hanging out with my motorcycle, hanging out with my kids, playing on the ice, playing baseball. That's what you're going to get. So when you go to my feed, it is a mishmash of stuff. But hell, by the time you're done looking at that thing, you are going to know who this guy is.
This is juicy information. You're giving me like, you're kind of like helping me see a couple things here, which I love. I love these conversations because it just helps me better my business. One, to all the listeners out there, we judge you immediately. Like if you don't have any posts, okay, you're a creepy person. I am not accepting your follow. Like I do not want to follow you back.
Or if you follow me and your account's private, it's like, why would I follow you? Like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Don't be a secret agent.
And it's so
unprivate your account.
So, so it's so interesting. And I'm like you, and I think I just have variations. So for me, any account that is way too polished, I'm going to say this because I'm going to say good things and I'm going to say no, not so good thing. There's this girl, Jasmine Star. She does what I do. She's an Instagram consultant. She's like what inspired me to start this. I was like, I just want to be just like this girl. She's so great. I love her shots. They're professional. But all of a sudden, that human person started to disappear, and it just became like a very, like you said, like a commercial. And now I'm like, whoa, this seems so fake. Like, so when I see a crazy over the top, every single filter is the same polished account, I'm like, nope, that person is fake, not for me. But if I see someone who's just posting randomly, I don't know, like not good quality photos of their food and stuff, I also don't really want to follow that. And the tiling thing, for whatever reason, it's become like passe. It's so like 2018 or whatever. But
I was going to say it's like old news yesterday.
Yeah. But what I will say is this, and now you've inspired me, and I'm super excited to go create some shit. There should be some posts that are consistent. So say you don't do the tile-y thing and you split things up, maybe all of your testimonials are like the same branded testimonial. Or every Monday you come on and do a live IGTV or something. There's got to be like some consistency. I think there needs to be some of your brand colors in there. It just really makes you pop more. And yeah, now I'm like super inspired.
But I'm with you there because look, when you go to, okay, for example, okay, guys, see, now you got me spinning. Part of Mindshare, okay, guys, so a brand, everybody follow this. A brand is not just a set of colors and a logo.
Mm-hmm.
A brand is the entirety of the Mindshare that you've built around who you are and what you do. That's the brand. Okay. So this is about your personality. This is about the types of pictures you take. This is about the type of posts you do. This is about what your business looks like. And when you've got a business, yes, we want consistency to the colors and logo part of the brand. So for example, when you go to see the Mindshare podcast stuff, you are going to see that the thumbnail that we did the promo together, right? Of you with your name and the logo and the time. When you look at all of my promos for all of my guests, that's exactly what they look like. When you look at the promo that comes out on Saturday, which is of this episode, it's that audiogram. It's the cover art for my podcast, right? But then it's changed because it's now going to be, your voice with like, your little clip of whatever teaser to get people to tune into today's episode. And so to that, it's all about there's consistency in that part of the branding. But that's then interwoven, right, within the fabric of everything else we're doing to let you know that I'm a real person. And like, I'm going to give you the, yes, I'm on the ice right now or hanging out with my Harley, et cetera type of thing, right? I'm getting, new ink, whatever. I'm letting you in. This is who I am. It's going to help me find my people.
Yeah.
But between the branding, the type of stuff you post, the branding, the theme, the color, the logo, and then the personal side of everything, that is what is building your brand.
Yes. I think it like really depends on how you want to start playing with Instagram. So like if I take someone who's a really novice, I'm for sure going to teach them the tiling pattern. And it could be as simple as, do a photo of a house and then do a photo of anything else besides a house. Then do a photo of a house and then anything, but I'm going to teach them the tiling because it's going to take them from crazy mess or like tons of photos of listing, which sucks. And it just sucks, to looking a little bit more polished. And then once someone's more comfortable, then you can start to change it up and do different things. But I'm so glad we're having this conversation because I face that myself. I face that completely. Like if there's too many words on all my stuff, I'm like, whoa, this is busy. I need to mix it up.
You just said something key, and everybody listening, tune into that right now. She just said she's still going through that herself. 100%. And I'm going to let you in, and I'm going to tell you the same thing. Every day I do as well. And it's not, oh my God, how can I look better for everybody? It's constantly kind of just staying tuned into the channel that we're leveraging to figure out what is the best way to leverage it. Look, social media is social media. Be social. That being said, is the freest form of advertising any of us can have for our brands. How can we leverage it better? It's the same thing like being ourselves every day, mindset. How do I get myself better? I mean, if you're not out there reading books and learning, doing self-development and education, how are you making this thing, your brain better? How are you making your mind stronger? Right?
Yes.
You've got to learn. So it's the same thing with these social media platforms. They are changing at all times. Now, you mentioned something about highlights off the top. And it was something about,
Wait, pin it.
Go.
I just have to say, my best friend was saying to me yesterday, I'm so hard on myself. She's just contacted someone so that she's going to start meditating and all this stuff. I've been doing that stuff for a long time. Doesn't mean I'm not hard on myself.
Right.
Of course I'm hard on myself, but I'm quicker at catching myself now. For the person who's waiting out there with your website to be perfect before you launch it, and maybe I'm bad for like wait and do a big launch. That's so not me. Instead, it's like get that shit out there.
Just
You need to
go.
just get it up.
What do you mean?
Because
You mean the minute I launch my website, the whole world's not just going to start buying from me? Just like
it's people think it's just ridiculous. So it's like I tweak my website, I tweak my bio like quarterly, of course. Like you go revisit, you tighten it up. It's constantly business is tightening up. Mindset tightening up always.
Totally right.
Okay.
Totally.
Highlights.
So you said that they were important, and I like it because we know that 99% of people start checking you out online. Right?
Yep.
They go to your website, they go to your IG, they go to your LinkedIn, they go to your Facebook. Why are highlights important? I mean, I know why, but I'm just, share it with us.
Do you know why?
I think so.
Well, tell me why you think it is. Well, why do you think they're important?
Well, okay. So here, I believe that stories are awesome because stories show up at the top of the feed. So the more I click on your story, the more I log onto Instagram, and I click on yours, the more you're going to show up every time I log onto Instagram. And I call that building mindshare. It's a wicked, wicked mindshare hack, and it costs you nothing. Now, much the same, when you take some of those things that you did on your stories, you put them to your highlights. Every time somebody goes to check out who you are, and they do I'm going to check your feed, they're going to see these highlights. And highlights are those important moments in time that we're pulling out to try to, again, paint some sort of picture. So it could be podcast. It could be speaking. It could be, I've got one called Point of View, and it's like literally just wicked, like pictures that I've taken, God knows, CN Tower.
I wonder what that one was. That's really good. That's so cute. Yeah, right?
Was that?
You've mentioned your Harley. You've mentioned your tats. Do you have a tattoo highlight?
No.
No. Do you have a lot of tats? I don't know that about you. You got a few tats?
I like my ink, you know what I mean? But this is the thing though. Now we're letting people in.
Yes. So you said it exactly. Earlier in this podcast, you said, why not get on stories? Because they disappear within 24 hours. So it's exciting. They're gone. Mm-hmm. But if you do a really good story, or you're answering a frequently asked question, you want people to continuously be able to see that. You want people to get that answer all the time. You want those good stories to shine. So highlights are your best stories saved into these files. And the other two reasons highlights are really important is for your followers, they show more of your value. So your bio is 150 characters, including spaces and emojis. You can't really fit all your awesomeness in there. So spread out all your services amongst your highlights so it shows more value to your followers. And on top of that, if you go ahead and brand your highlights, now your business looks professional and your brand stands out. But the second point is...
I love that point, by the way. Show all your awesomeness. I thought that was good because, it allows you more than your bio. Boom. Let me learn more here. Let me learn more there. Great point.
Exactly. Like you can't fit. I mean, some people have lots of awards and things like that. No, you should have an awards highlight if you have a whole bunch of them. If you have just one, just throw it in your bio. Yep. But for you, they guide you on what to post on your feed. I mentioned this before. So when you save something to your highlights, whatever highlight it is, it goes into the front of the row. So your highlights are always moving. It always goes to the front of the row. So look at what's at the back of the row. You haven't talked about that for a long time. Hopefully it's not client reviews. Hopefully it's not sold listings empty over there. But
or hold on, side note, because I saw one the other day where somebody had highlights for that stuff, and the last open house that was posted in their open house highlights was from the summer in July.
Yeah, so
I thought either you got no open houses and you're not doing anything, or you're not paying attention to your Insta.
Or someone, exactly. Someone created that for them, never taught them how to use it. Right. Now they're just like leaving it blank. So you do have to go through with them, especially like open houses, which isn't like a huge thing now, but you've got to take those things down. And as you go through them too, you want to save your best ones. So highlights can get like really full really fast, depending on how many stories you do. So I will go through and clean those up, like just leave my best ones. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
What about hashtags? We are told you have to hashtag. We are told you have to have a minimum of 30 hashtags. We are told that you do have to have between 7 and 11 hashtags. We are told not to hashtag in your post, but hashtag in your comments. Quite frankly, I'm hashtagged out.
I hate the
What
rules
that's what
sometimes.
I'm
Like,
saying. What is that maybe your side on it? Because I'm going to say, what is the rule of thumb there? Quite frankly, guys, I've asked this question a million times. I get a million different answers. How do you
yeah,
do
it's so
this?
true. So Gary Vee says, use all 30 because the algorithm is just going to change and come back around. Because for a while there, you're right, David, it was like you can only use 1 through 8 or your
Right.
tags aren't going to be shown. Like, it's just so who the fuck is behind that? Like, who is doing that?
Those guys in
Who is
Social Dilemma.
changing the algorithm? It's so I want the secret about that. um here's my tip. You want to save your best branded, obvious, how clients are going to find you hashtags into a notepad on your phone, and you're going to save about like 10 to 15. Then you're going to copy and paste them, put them into your comment section. And I tell people to add like 3 to 5, you still have space for however many more. But I usually say add 3 to 5 specific ones to that post. Why? One, you want all of your stuff to be branded so it's always searchable by the people you want to find it. But you're just going to keep finding the exact same people if you don't add new ones every single time. So you have to get creative. I absolutely think you have to use hashtags on every single thing that you do, just because in my business, that's what I've noticed. Like, if I go ahead and hashtag, not even take over your Instagram, but go and hashtag all your previous content, you'll get more followers because that's how people find you. Hashtags on the searchable
Hashtag.
page.
So there's no
Yeah.
specific number, but use them.
Yes.
And then
And
find a bunch of ones that you use consistent. Like I'll use the Mindshare podcast, Mindshare 101, realtor coaching, things like that. And I do have those in a notepad. And so
yep.
every time there's a post, not every time, like this morning I posted something about my niece and my daughter. And so I did not, I'll always hashtag Mindshare 101, but I did not put any of my other hashtags because I wasn't trying to pull that audience in any way. It was just more kind of throwing something up there, right? But
Yeah.
when I am going to post about the podcast or I'm going to post business stuff or whatever it is, I'm going to grab that set of hashtags that I use and I'm going to continue to put it there. Because if you go and hashtag Mindshare 101, I'm also going to see that you did that. And thank you, by the way. Go and use it and abuse it. That being said as well, right, is those hashtags there allow me to figure out who else is hashtagging, who can I connect with, where can I make additional connection points, right?
Yeah, they're so great. And like another thing that I think a lot of people don't know is don't use very general hashtags. Tons of people are like peace, love, for sale, new
Happy.
house.
Yeah, right.
Like, no.
Millions and millions are
Millions
going
of
to get
people
lost.
are using that. Yeah, you're just going to get lost. You're
So,
good.
so a couple things going on with the gram over here. I got just a couple questions left before we sort of get off the live broadcast because we could literally dive into this for hours. I know for sure.
Totally.
And we to all of our Mindshare Masters that are hanging out in our VIP room right now, stay tuned. We are going to bring you guys on camera when we get off the live broadcast. So don't be shy or scared. Anybody else who's watching from Facebook Live, and you're a Mindshare Master, make sure you get in there now because Stacey has. We're going to take some time with Stacey in our own sort of private Q&A here. But I guess that the question here becomes kind of in a high level. We've covered a lot of this, but I'm sitting here today. I do want to grow my followers, and I want to do that so that I can connect with more people, not just so I can see the vanity metrics, right? So let's just say, I want to grow my Instagram. What would be the, and I know that that's a loaded question, but what are some of the daily non-negotiables that I need to be doing in order to grow that?
Daily non-negotiables.
Like every time you're on there, make sure you do this.
So you always want to be telling people where to go next on Instagram, whether you're doing a post to your feed and writing a caption, whether you are, what you write in your bio, there should be a call to action at the end of that. In your stories should be a call to action. I'm going to be on David's podcast today. Go to Facebook Live. Check out this customer testimonial. Check out more of my testimonials on my website. So non-negotiable, you're always telling people where to go next, or they're going to go somewhere else, go to someone else. Like, you want them to click on your post. So that is a really good thing to practice. To be quite honest, I've done a little experiment as of lately, and that is being on stories every day with a different purpose every single day. So maybe one day you're doing a shout out to your favorite, it could be a person. So you want to do a shout out to collaborate, tag other people. This is going to do exactly what you just said you wanted. You want to connect with people. You want to thank people. You want to put a spotlight on people and show other people great people. Shout outs are really good for that. I'm trying to think. It's like a secret strategy. I call it an Instagram story spree. So this is in my ebook.
Mm-hmm.
It's called an Instagram story spree. So it's shout out, promote, relate, educate,
Mm-hmm.
and engage.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to do all those 5 things every day. Do one of those things every day. And by consistently doing it, give yourself a 30-day challenge, show up on your stories. Some days you're going to show us behind the scenes. You're going to be relatable. Some days you're going to promote. Some days you're going to talk about other people. Do it for 30 days. So far, my clients who have done it, one person went up 200 followers. Another one went up 500 followers, quit her job, is like selling online full time. So, and it's so crazy because this was just, a lot of my stuff is just a theory, and I think that it makes sense to my brain. But I tried it out with other people, tested it, it works. And now I'm like, okay, I got to use my own advice. I got to do this, but I always come last, right? My clients always come first.
The shoemaker's son always goes barefoot, as they say.
Yes.
Or daughter. So those again were shout out, promote, engage, educate, and relate. So
yes,
again,
but
you're
it's
doing
spelled,
one of those 5 things.
the way that I have set it up is so it's an Instagram spree. So it's easy. It's easy to remember.
Oh, I like
spree.
it.
Yeah, an Instagram spree.
Shout out, promote, relate, educate,
engage.
And engage. Love it. Stace, you just mentioned the ebook. Is that something people can go and download?
100%. So there's 2 different versions. There is one specifically for realtors. It's 30 days of script. So if you don't know what to say in your stories, if you don't know any like camera tips or how you should look, this book is your easy button. It is $25, like next to nothing. And you can personalize it and make it totally your own. I also have a really general one. It's the exact same thing, but it's for any other kind of business. So if you're a coach, if you're a stager listening to this, I don't know, if you're a meditator, whatever it is, you can use the more general version.
I'd like to ask you if we missed anything, but I know we missed a lot because there's just so much to cover in this. So we're going to do this again. That being said, where can people find you? And where can they go get your stuff? Like the ebook, where can they learn more about you? All that stuff. Outside of just Instagram.
Yes, outside of Instagram, you can go to staceysecrets.com, Stacey. I'm a Stacey. All of my stuff is there. All of the outlines of my programs, my presentations, everything, the ebook, my app, it's all there. And then of course you want to go to Secret Takeovers. That's where I give all my free secrets to Instagram. I just give shit away over there. I love it. Go sign my petition. It's on change.org, and you just have to look up either Stacey Russell or look up Hide My Followers. And my link tree is full of stuff. That's where all my books are and everything's there. I think that's it.
Amazing,
I think that's everything.
Amazing. I'm going to ask you one last question, just I guess in a summary. What last words or tips or anything can you share with anybody that's tuned in, just as a sort of a closing kind of thing here to help them build more mindshare?
100%. Besides like just being who you are, don't try to be perfect. Don't worry about fucking up. If you take a picture of your shoe and you post it in your stories and you're like, damn, I didn't mean to post that. You know what? Everyone's thinking about you instead of that other realtor who's not doing it at all. So don't worry about looking perfect. People are going to be attracted to you and work with you because you're you. It doesn't matter if you have lots of other competitors. Like I have lots of competitors, but people who want the Stacey Secrets experience are going to come to me.
Wicked. And that's why we got you here today. Stacey, thank you.
Thank you. I would so love to be on here again. I gotta ask you a question. Is that your real voice? Or is this your like on voice?
Every time I'm about to talk, I press the button.
I
No.
love it.
You're either listening to this on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Stitcher, or Spotify. Or maybe you download our free Industry Syndicate podcast app, or maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. And while you're on my site, make sure to download your free copy of the 7 Ways to Communicate ebook to help you build more mindshare so that you can get more market share. And if you want to talk about personalized one-to-one coaching to help you get to your next level, just get in touch with me. We'll set up a free consultation call to learn more about, well, what you're looking to achieve and how I will help you do just that. Wherever you like to consume your content, please rate, review, and subscribe. And if you haven't yet, connect with me on Facebook at Mindshare101 and on Instagram at DavidGreenspan101. This has been another episode of the Mindshare Podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.